Hey everyone, this is Mr. Huebner with Earth Science, and we are doing the moon dial activity. And this is part 2. Part 1 was doing exactly what you have here, cutting these pieces out and trying to determine what the proper sequence of moon phases would be, based off of not necessarily having any prior knowledge, just kind of estimating. So this is the correct format of the phases of the moon, and we're going to be learning the different names like first quarter, waning gibbous, waxing gibbous, last quarter, waning crescent, all of those different names. And I'm just going to put a picture up of the different phases of the moon. Here we are. So as you can see, we have a new moon. Here's sunlight, the moon, and the Earth. And the new moon is what we see from Earth, and it's basically nothing. There's no light being reflected because the moon itself is in the way. And we then are going to have a waxing crescent. Waxing means it's increasing. And then we have a first quarter, waxing gibbous, and a full moon. And then we go to waning gibbous. Scroll down to last quarter. Third quarter. So some will say last quarter, some will say third quarter, depending upon your resource. And you've got waning crescent, and again, the new moon. And it is a 28-day cycle. All right, so that's the first part, done. Next part is making an actual moon dial. So we go back to those moon directions. Come on, here we go. Moon directions. It says completely shade in the circle that the boy is pointing to on your sheet. This will be new moon. We will go through the phases using a short video clip. Shade in the phases as we go through them. Fix any mistakes when I show you on... Okay, well, we're going to modify it a little bit. So, we'll take those off. And let me show you what I'm doing. I'm going to take that off. And this is what we have left. We have this page, and we have this page. This is the boy. Just gonna take that off right there. And what we need to do is, I believe it said shade the circle that the boy is facing, and that is going to be called the new moon. So here we go. I'm going to shade it. And we're going to call that the new moon. All right, so what we're going to do is, once we have the new moon, we need to either put all of the phases on here or, whoa, look at that. We have new moon, waning, crescent, last quarter. We have all of the phases of the moon. And just reviewing waxing, does that mean it's becoming more of a full moon or becoming more of a new moon, meaning not visible? Waxing actually means it's increasing and moving towards becoming a full moon. Waning is decreasing and becoming a new moon. Personally, I think they should call it no moon, but you know, they didn't call it that, so it's new moon because it starts the cycle. So what we have right here is we're going to cut this circle out. We're going to cut that little circle out, save it later to create our final moon dial. And I didn't go to Walmart yet to get the clips that go in the center, but I will. And you will have that clip to connect it all. All right, so you don't have to watch me cut it out. I will pause the video, and you can pause the video as well and start cutting this and this out. And for that matter, actually, you're going to want to cut this circle out as well. All right, pause in the video. All right, as you can see, I have my circle and my itty bitty little circle. So I'm going to take that out for now, and let's put this so that the new moon's up at top. And yeah, it's not first quarter, not a full moon. Where is that? There it is, new moon. So we're going to keep it right at that spot, like that. And eventually we're going to cut right here, and then we'll be able to fold them all up. But for now, we are going to start filling in all of these moon phases and what they look like at that time. So at the time of the full moon, it's completely lit up. New moon, it is not lit up, totally dark. Alright, so why don't we go the actual cycle of the moon. Let's go waxing crescent. So once you see just a smidge, just a little crescent, you might want to do this in pencil just in case you make a mistake. Alright. And then the crescent gets bigger. It's still a waxing crescent. There it is, a little bit bigger. And moving on. It's a bigger waxing crescent until it becomes a first quarter. Alright, so first quarter is like a half moon. Alright, was I covering that? There we go, first quarter. And then we are going to get to its a waxing gibbous. Let's see. Alright, so here we go, waxing gibbous. It's a little bit bigger than half. And as we're going down that waxing gibbous line, it's getting closer to a full moon, to the point where, yeah, you know it's not a full moon, but it's like probably the next evening will be a full moon, or maybe 2 nights. Just a crisp sliver is not to be seen until we have the full-blown moon, in which case it goes into a waning gibbous, where it's just a sliver that is not going to be seen. Alright, now an even more of a waning gibbous. And a really big waning gibbous. And then we get last quarter, also known as third quarter. And then after that, we're going into the waning crescent. All right. All right, and there we go. those are all of the phases of the moon and what they look like at their specific names. Alright, so what we're now going to do is we're going to add times, because we're going to use this moon dial to tell us, alright, what time of day is the moon going to rise and set. And if it's a new moon, what time of day would it be? Or if it's a full moon, what time of day would it be? Alright, so we're going to say at noon, and we're going to circle that, it's number 1, shade it, is 12 p.m. Alright. And then we're moving on to, let's see, I believe it's 1:30 p.m. Alright. Alright, so that's 1:30 p.m. and then we're going to (3 o'clock p.m.) and we're going to 4:30 p.m. and we're going to slide around this and we're at 6. And then to 7:30. And then I believe 9 o'clock. And then it is 10:30. Shade the next one. We're shading every other one so we have a even feel of it. 12 a.m. Next one's going to be 1:30. We've got 3. Then we're at 4:30. And we're at 6 a.m. morning. I believe it's 7:30. Notice we're hour and a half intervals. Alright, and then we're at 9 o'clock. And then we're at 10:30. Alright, we got our moon dial, our phases with our name, phases of the moon names. We have our times of the day. Alright, so this moon dial can be very confusing, and I just double checked to make sure I'm doing this right, but the last step is right here, and we're going to go with the new moon. A couple reasons we don't see any moon with the new moon. One is we don't see any of the reflected side because of its placement between the sun and the earth. We don't see the reflected side. Another reason would be the moon is mostly present during the daytime also. So what's going to happen is at around 6 in the morning is when it's going to rise. So we're going to write the words rise right here on the western, where it says western horizon. We're modifying it a little so it makes a little bit more sense. So let's forget about that. We'll just put rise there. And it's going to be highest up there at noon, 12 o'clock p.m. And it's going to set, in this case, at 6 p.m. So nowhere to be seen at night. let's flip that around and let's say, look at the full moon here. We always think of werewolves howling at the full moon at midnight. So it's highest in the sky at midnight when we're talking about a full moon. And it's going to rise at 6 p.m. And that full moon gets higher and higher until it hits its peak height in the sky at midnight. And then it starts to go down as it sets beneath the horizon at around 6 in the morning, just in time for the day. Alright, so that is, I'm going to stop the video right there. That's making the moon dial. That's probably the hardest part. The next tricky part would be answering some of the questions using your moon dial, but I'll save that for another video. Alright, I'm signing off.